Okay. Hello, welcome to Mother is Female. We are here outside of the American College of Obstetricians, Gynecologists at their national headquarters here in Washington, D.C. I am joined with a variety of women's rights campaigners. We come from different parts of the country. We have different life experiences. We have different opinions on different things, but there's one thing that we all agree on is that the definition of a mother is an adult human female who has given birth or who is parenting children. No man has ever given birth. No mother is a man. And we demand that the American College of Obstetricians Gynecologists divest itself immediately of gender ideology, which is harming and poses a direct threat to the women who they claim to be in service of. That they recenter women and their babies as their top priority for care. ACOG, the American College of Obstetricians Gynecologists, has a long, sordid history of poor leadership over maternity care in the United States. It starts with the fact that we spend more money per capita on every woman giving birth, yet we have some of the worst neonatal maternal mortality outcomes and morbidity outcomes in the developed world. It is a disgrace. They have over-relied on a technocratic model, so it is not all that surprising now that they have aligned themselves with an ideology, a pro-technological, a pro-transhumanist ideology that strips the very dignity and identity of mothers, and it centers something that is akin to a magical belief. No man can ever be a woman. No person with a penis can ever give birth. When we lose the definition of a woman is, we lose everything. There is not one organization that can claim that it stands for women in any capacity if it lacks the ability to properly define what is a woman. And a woman, we all stand together here and we assert that the definition of a woman is an adult human female. There is no other definition. To call us birthing people, pregnant person, it is dehumanizing, it is disgraceful, and you should know better. And until you decide to divest yourself from this harmful, misogynistic ideology, then we demand that the U.S. divest itself from the protocols and guidelines of ACOG. ACOG, you are not fit to serve until you do a massive overhaul. So I would like to welcome speakers to come and speak about how this ideology harms them and what our demands are of ACOG. Who would like to go first?
Brittany's a brilliant speaker. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Jennifer Thomas, Red Comic Street Beat on Twitter.
Can we yell?
Good afternoon. So I have been, on the way up here, I was thinking about what I was going to say. And, the thing that really bothers me the most about this, besides, not having a definition for woman, that is cohesive and normal, is that they have now defined men as being able to get pregnant when it's really a woman, ACOG, and they're allowing men, real men, to breastfeed children. Now they're giving them lactate-inducing hormones and drugs, and these men have a fetish to molest newborn children and put them to their breasts and feed them poison. And, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, you would think would have strict guidelines about, what you feed your child. When I was pregnant and nursing, they told me that I, shouldn't smoke, I shouldn't drink, I should eat well. If there was any problem, to call the doctor. And now they're allowing and suggesting that men who are taking cross-sex hormones that have adverse effects on an infant, like bone loss, effects to the infant's voice, effects to their brain, effects to every part of their development. They're allowing and suggesting that this is acceptable. At my sign here, woman mother, woman mother, no other. There is no one else that can get pregnant. Men cannot get pregnant. Women are the only human beings that can carry a child and nurse them. And the fact that our doctors are, sanctifying this with their approval makes me think, how can we ever trust you?
Exactly.
I would never have a baby at one of their hospitals. I would go out of the country to have my baby. We cannot trust somebody that starts with a lie, an organization that starts with a lie and just continues. And, there's been problems with them, with the, cesarean sections, how many, the numbers growing every year. It was a third, now it's closer to, half really. So they were lying to us about that, and now they're just out and out lying. I mean, they're telling us that men can breastfeed, and they're encouraging it. So when you think of ACOG, when you think of the American Obstetrics and Gynecology, the College of American Obstetricians and Gynecologists, think about how they don't know the difference. They're pretending not to know the difference between men and women. So how can we move on we can't move on from there. They have to change their policies, but even when they do change their policies, we're all going to know that they lied. They lied to us about a simple fact. So how are we ever going to trust our doctors again? Is the question I'd like to leave the audience with. Thank you so much.
Well done. That's all just
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And again, we're standing outside of the headquarters of ACOG. We know that they know about us. ACOG, you sent us a cease and desist letter for utilizing your logo, even though it was altered. We know that you're listening. We know that you hear us. Now is your chance to sort of come to truth. And you must face American women. And you must be ready to hold yourselves accountable. We know that there is somebody somewhere who's putting pressure on you. Why don't you do the right thing and speak up? Do the right thing. Stand by the women who we have installed you to serve. You are a servant of women. You are not there to rule over us. You are to serve us. Who would like to go first? We have Joy.
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you to all the women that came out here today. It is no easy feat to come out here. I mean, the drive here, my palms were sweating, my heart was racing, it still is. I mean, public speaking is no fun already, and now we got to do it and say the thing that no one else will say, which is crazy that men and women make up the adult population. It is the equivalent of being silenced or ridiculed, or much less the angry aggression. Imagine saying the earth is round and the flat earthers come piling out with torches and pitchforks. Well, it's kind of cold, so the torches would be fine today, but it's ridiculous. Galileo persecuted in the 17th century for saying that the earth traveled around the sun. And it is 2023. And we have to say that men cannot be mothers to the ACOG, ACOG. That we have to say that is dehumanizing. And I really like the distinction that Jennifer made about pretending. They know. Everybody knows. Jennifer says everybody knows. They're just pretending not to know. So we're here. I'm here as a woman who believes in free speech, who believes in reality. And I had someone ask me earlier, how do you come out here? Are you worried about your job? Are you worried about things personally that might be taken from you for being out here? And no, I'm not. I'm not. Because how do you go to sleep at night? How could I go to sleep at night if there was no one out here today? I go to protest after protest and speak at free speech event after free speech event. because it is terrifying to think that in the land of America, land of the free, we are not able to speak a simple truth, that there are men and there are women, and only women can be mothers. I want to read a poem that I love, but I want to speak briefly about my mother before I do. I consider it an honor to be here in her honor, because I know that if she was around today, she'd be damn proud of me for coming out here to give the middle finger to an organization that has given us the middle finger. Woo, woo. My mother was diagnosed with uterine cancer in 2015, in January of 2015, and she died 9 months later. She went misdiagnosed for a year prior to that because her OB, who she had been seeing for 30 years, promised her on 3 separate occasions, this is absolutely not cancer. And my mother was a nurse her whole adult life. And it wasn't until the day before her DNC surgery to get those uterine fibroids removed that a colleague said, have you ever gotten a second opinion? And she realized she hadn't. She trusted her OB. The second doctor to give her that opinion took one look at her and said, I don't even need to touch you. I can tell you for sure this is cancer and it's bad. And she was dead 9 months later. Her main symptom through that whole time was irregular spotting. That was the main symptom, one of the only things to really clue her off to anyone off. And I'm here having to say, how dare you refer to her as a bleeder? How dare you refer to me as a bleeder, a menstruator? No, we do not accept it, and we won't accept it. And in that spirit, in the spirit of free speech, I want to read this poem. It's posted by someone that just posted their screen name. It's written by someone who posted their screen name as Irish Child. It's titled Menstruator and Other Words That Rhyme with Hate Her. If you wish to be inclusive, please amend your language usage. Woman has now been disabled. This is how you shall be labeled. Ovulator, menstruator, gestator, incubator, procreator, lactator, child curator, caretaker, homemaker, meal maker, vacuum cleaner operator, titillator, conciliator, erotic roleplay stimulator. If a woman should resist any title from this list, please ensure her full compliance. Here is how to squash defiance. Moderate, invalidate. Ensure that you re-educate her, irritate her, frustrate her, make sure you exasperate her, do berate her, denigrate her, obviously you castigate her, deprecate her, do deflate her, tell her you depreciate her, dominate, humiliate, and certainly manipulate her, subjugate, domesticate, and if you can, abdicate her. Penetrate her, impregnate her, and all her life administrate her. Regulate, incarcerate, and you shall incapacitate her. Violate her, desecrate her, let your actions devastate her, decorate her, mutilate her, crush her, and debilitate her. Obviate, exorciate, and with your words, eviscerate her. Decimate, intimidate, until you can subordinate her. Designate her, emulate her, mimic her, and obfuscate her. Appropriate, adulterate, mock, and then impersonate her. Exterminate, obliterate, and finally annihilate her. Disintegrate, evaporate, replace her, and then eradicate her. Just negate her, just negate her, just negate her, hate her. Thank you.
That's wild. That poem is wild. Nailed it. moving. That's just fucking whoa.
Uterine cancer is a condition that only women get. That is a female condition. When we include
We have a permit for this.
Yeah.
We have a permit.
when we include trans identifying people as when we include, so yeah, we have somebody from I guess ACOG. When we include trans identifying people, when we lie about who women are, when we lie about what women are, when we lie about sex and human reproduction, we are not able to serve the needs of women. We are nowhere close to where we need to be, ACOG. Your own people cannot identify a condition such as cancer, a female cancer. And when you define women as anybody who identifies it, I can imagine how much worse the standards of care and the practice is going to be. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Here.
Absolutely. Here.
When Brittany first talked about doing this protest, I knew I had to be here for the two most important women in my life, my mom and my daughter.
You can speak up. Just speak up. Louder.
What kind of a world are we leaving for our children when our political leaders show so much disrespect to the women in our own country? As a former Democrat, I'm appalled by their policies to change the meaning of the word mother. I'm angry that they encourage our children to hate us if we don't follow their woke agenda. Their policies disrupt the family unit. They have become ridiculously anti-parent. Remember that when you go to the polls next week, don't give them any more power. They have already done incredible damage. I've met many beautiful women who are fighting against this insanity, and I know they stand behind us. One of them is Alex, you might know as Pinwheel Art. She would have loved to be here, but having just given birth herself, it was impossible. She is the embodiment of the word mother. I'm going to read a few excerpts from some of her previous speech events. Thank you, Alex. This is from Alex. Before I started speaking out for women on our erasure and legislature, statistics, women's health, medicine, and science for the protection of children against gender ideology and the predators rampant in our society, I was fighting for women and babies before, during pregnancy, birth, and beyond. I was fighting for a society fluent in body literacy. I was fighting for every individual to see the divine beauty and power that our bodies can hold. But especially our women and girls. I thought we were on our way to taking birth out of institutions and back into the caring hands of women where it rightfully belongs. But suddenly, everything was flipped upside down. Some people in my personal life seem to think I have strayed from my passion of working with women and their families throughout life, but I have not. This issue is going to impact those families which I love and strive to serve in unimaginable ways. When women do not have language that is humane, descriptive of us, and simple to communicate effectively across languages and cultures, we will see skyrocketing morbidity and mortality rates for women and ultimately those we care for, our children, and really society as a whole. Women have long struggled with healthcare, as we already did not have humane language to describe our bodies and experiences, as well as a lack of data on what women actually need from healthcare and what education is necessary for women to lead healthy lives in societies across the globe. Language impacts our everyday lives. Its impact on women is This is our impact on women. Without proper language to conduct studies, women and children have high morbidity and mortality rates. Women need sex-separated spaces, such as rape crisis centers, bathrooms, changing rooms, shelters, to maintain their dignity and psychological well-being. Sports that depend on various physical abilities, which vary greatly by sex, must continue to be sex-separated for fair competition, so girls and women feel they actually have a chance to win. Law and policies must protect women based on sex, as our biology is the basis of our oppression. Without accurate, concise, clearly defined language, we cannot safeguard women and children in society. Without accurate, concise, clearly defined words, which translate across language and culture in healthcare, we are taking great bounds backwards in providing basic care for women. Women already suffer due to lack of studies on the female body and our complex health and wellness needs. I cannot sit back and be silent while I watch the breakdown of a society which my children will have to navigate into womanhood. Working and being in community with girls and women through their reproductive years and beyond, I have seen just how important clear language is to our communication, safeguarding health and general wellness. I will not turn a blind eye to such harmful ideologies, and neither should you. That's from Alex, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Connie. And again, if you, I'm not sure if the stream caught it. We had somebody who I believe is either employed by ACOG, a security team, come and say that we had to disband. We do hold a permit. They don't want us to tell the truth.
They don't want you there. Women are talking.
This
Shut them
entire
down.
ideology depends on the mass participation in gaslighting. That's why it is truly the emperor has no clothes. Everybody must participate in the lie for it to flourish and continue. The second that one person speaks up and tells the plain, simple truth, suddenly it's a call to everybody that, you're right. It's true. It all will come crumbling down the second one person is brave enough. Well, guess what? We don't have just one person who's brave enough. We have a collection of women who are brave enough. And we may not be many, but the truth prevails. I would rather be one person telling the truth against 10,000 people yelling back at me a lie. And in the words of Magdalene Burns, I'd rather be rude than a fucking liar. Rest in peace.
You're here.
Who's next? Tough.
Shout it out.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'd rather not give my name, and this is my first event. But
Thank you.
Welcome.
Just speak up.
One of my friends from college has always wanted nothing more than to be a mother. All through our college years, she made extra money by babysitting the small children of members of our school administration. In our sophomore year, she was my roommate, and I watched her sick in her bed for 2 weeks after she caught hand, foot, and mouth from one of the little girls she was babysitting for. Even after that, she kept going back to watch those little kids because of how much she loved children. A year after we graduated college, my friend had to rush to the emergency room due to horrible abdominal pains that lasted weeks. In the emergency room, she discovered that she had a cyst on her ovary that was bigger than a softball. She was devastated, not only that her life was at risk, but primarily because this meant that she would never be able to live her dream of being a mother. Over the last year, I've watched my friend do battle with her insurance company to have procedures covered that would give her a small chance at preserving her ability to be a mother. She miraculously was able to keep her uterus and her untouched ovary intact after the cyst was removed, but she needed to have her remaining healthy eggs retrieved in order to someday attempt in vitro fertilization. Even then, her chances of sustaining a healthy pregnancy are not guaranteed. My friend paid tens of thousands of dollars out of her own pocket for the medications and surgical procedures necessary to save her eggs. At any point, she could have given up, but such was her desire to someday be a mother. It was her lifelong dream. My friend is from California. The state of California regularly foots the entire bill for transgender procedures for young women the same age as my friend.
Thank you for joining us. It is so great to have people coming and joining us who don't have a big experience with this. These are female conditions. This is the female experience. When you rob us of our language, you rob us of our ability to speak about things like that, to share that with each other, to ask for help, to advocate for ourselves. For a very long time, the male anatomy and physiology was the only thing studied. All of our treatments were built and developed for male bodies. We had to fight and advocate for ourselves to be included in medical research. And here we are in 2023, and you want to rip us of our language, you want to equalize us. We are not men, men are not us. We need our own body of language so we can speak about exactly what our sister just shared. Who is next?
Okay, I'm going to try this slowly because I normally have a problem. I stumble on my words, but I do my best. Well, we are adult human females, not
The VF's in the house.
uterus bearers, cis non-men. How dare the ACOG dehumanize mothers in their maternity care? Captured by those who aim to profit off transhumanism and stealing the role of women in reproductive capacity. They are promoting a toxic woman-hating ideology. It is no coincidence that men have created many magical myths, from the Virgin Mary to men can now get pregnant, all to pretend that human life does not originate from the eggs in the womb of a woman. Men have forever been trying to force control and minimize the power of mothers and importance into humanity. In fact, there is no humanity without the blood magic of our wombs. To confuse women and devalue motherhood is violence against life itself. Women and the future generation of children are being harmed and killed by these vile lies and misinformation being spread by a gender ideology. Just recently, a trans-identified woman died in a hospital because the doctor mistook her for a man and didn't know she was pregnant. These destructive lies are coming and costing human life. Teenage girls of pregnancy age are being taught total nonsense and falsehoods, and PIV sex is gay. Then being shocked when taking testosterone doesn't prevent pregnancy, leading to hormones poisoning of the fetus, which we already know can extremely detrimental to not only the fetus and the child, but the woman herself. Now we're experimenting on those children, leading to crippling, killing, sterilizing generations in the name of gender fields. Also, Big Pharma can make big profits selling chemicals to fetishes men so they can move feed a baby, no matter how unethical and dangerous that is. These mad scientists are making illogical and deadly decisions in a sick attempt to steal women's wombs and detach human beings from biological reality. And only women can give birth. They're trying to create a market for meat Legos, where they alone create armies of artificially conceived test tube babies, grown in labs, while the population becomes so dumbed down and confused about human reproduction and removed from our families, we forget how babies are born. Well, we're here to put an end to this and set this record straight. Humanity will not be without women, and we deserve full respect as the source of all human life. Mothers are women. Women are adult human females. We deserve maternity care and sex ed that reflects our biological reality and our unique reproductive needs that center our health as well as the lives of those born from our wombs. This is the very meaning of pro-life. Anything else is clear disrespect to humanity and a death sentence to the future of us all. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. Who would like to go?
I love hearing VF speak.
Yes. All right.
I'll get a fangirl out. Gabby's in the house.
I can't even believe we're here, right? I can't believe we're at this place. I can't believe this is our reality now. We have to tell the people who are supposed to take care of women that we are in fact women and not men when we come to them. We're not birthing people. We're not front holes. We're not chest feeders. Go fuck yourself. I'm not calling myself a chest feeder. For all you out there who don't understand this, today is the day.
Yes, it is.
From now until the end of time, I will say I am a woman. From my hair color
Gabby.
to my toenails, I am female. Every cell in my body is female. You can't stop that. You can't change that. You cannot opt into it. You cannot opt out of it. It's an experience that my body is having. From the time of my conception until I die, I will be female. Woo! I will continue to be female. I teach people how to pull their children out of this gender code, affirming reality. These doctors should be doing that. When a confused young woman comes to them realizing that she's pregnant, but she wants to use him, her pronouns, his pronouns, he, him, they, and she wants to have a baby, and they want to give this woman testosterone so she can still feel male. She's not gonna feel male. She's pregnant. You can't feel male if you're pregnant. That is the absolute opposite of being male. If you have a baby in your body, you are a woman. And nothing you can do is going to change that. And we should not be allowing our doctors to capitulate to this delusion.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! There is no such thing as being born in the wrong body.
Yeah.
You can feel like you want to dress a certain way. That is on you. That is up to you. And you can make that decision for yourself. But to try to change biological reality is dangerous to us all. Physically, spiritually, emotionally. There is absolutely no reason why the whole of society cannot come together on this one simple fact. Mother is female. Woo!
Bam.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, kids.
Thank you.
Like the
This is
bomb.
Absolutely speech for women. Are any of you here to speak?
That's Brittany one. Fragile like a bomb. That's what we got to be like.
All right. So we're going to go through a little bit about what ACOG has been up to. I see you, sir. What's going on? Woo! Why do we have men working for ACOG? Trying to silence this fucking need.
That's why.
Hold on. Now let's go through a couple of things.
To make those females.
Alrighty, send it to Jennifer Thomas. She had. All right. So I put together a press release for this event. My background is I'm a former traditional home birth midwife, a birth worker. I used to work for Hudson Perinatal Consortium in northern New Jersey. We used to work with women who are very vulnerable, women who have escaped domestic violence situations, Spanish-speaking women, refugees, women who came from extreme poverty. And my job at that time was to help women, and I actually, specialized in teen mothers, connect with their bodies, connect with their babies, recenter themselves, We have gotten to such a place where we do not value motherhood. We don't value mothers. We throw them some, cheap, half-assed baby shower where they're passing around, like diapers with like mashed up Snickers. They're gonna guess the poop. It's all trivializing. We check these women in. We hook them up to stuff. It's like I always give the analogy. If you were walking in those woods and you came across a doe, a mother deer who was giving birth, and you ran up on her and you flashed some lights in her face, you know what would happen? Her body would be flooded with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, and it would literally cause labor to seize up and halt. And our bodies are so glorious that what her body can do, and it's the same thing that women's bodies can do, it'll stop labor and even pull that baby in so it gives the mother time to get somewhere safe. That would be like if we took that birthing mother deer and brought her into a shopping mall with people who want to, strap her down, put on a gown. Here you go, honey. I know it hurts, but we have some more questions for you. Can you just pay attention? People are yelling at you. People are chit-chatting. I've heard some of the most demeaning conversations being had right outside of the door of young women that I was serving. I had to go out there and check them and said, Art, can you please take that disrespect somewhere else? We can hear you. This is what you have presided over. 60% cesarean section rate surgical birth. Birth has always been my goal. Now that I'm working as a women's rights campaigner, it is something that I center. So I put together a little press release going through some things, and I wanted ACOG to know specifically what our demands are. If you're listening, and I know you know about the event, so I hope you're checking in on the live stream. Here is how we feel. I said ACOG's official position on LGBTQ plus issues encourages, quote, transgender medicalization. And to be clear, there's no such thing as transgender. That alone is a misnomer. Of female OBGYN patients. Transgender medicalization includes experimental and highly invasive cosmetic surgeries, such as double mastectomies and hysterectomies for healthy women and, yes, girls, children. Check out Boston Children's Medical Hospital, which is ground zero for childhood transition. They had a little cute YouTube video where they promoted cosmetic hysterectomies for children. Our children look up to us to guide us, to show us, to keep us safe, to give us enough of a boundary so that we can explore our world, but never go too far where we go off the mat and slowly expand that boundary for them. Where we're literally walking them in to a slaughterhouse and telling them, oh, it's okay. How will they ever trust adults, experts, doctors? You are failing them. You are failing us as well. Double mastectomies, hysterectomies for healthy women and girls, the cosmetic use of testosterone, which, by the way, and as I know you know, because we have years of research from women with polycystic ovarian syndrome, also known as PCOS, testosterone is a known teratogen. What's a teratogen? It is a compound that is poisonous to a pregnancy that causes structural anomalies to the developing fetus. How dare you co-sign the cosmetic use of testosterone in a fertile population of women?
Sick.
Amongst and other damaging procedures. ACOG supports male breastfeeding of infants by adult men through drug-induced lactation using drugs with known adverse health effects. We demand an immediate halt and review of these harmful policies. Women are gathering today to demand that you abandon your dangerous position in support of these men breastfeeding or chest feeding or abusing their babies. We demand an end to experimental medicalization of mentally ill patients under a flawed practice of informed consent that I'll talk about in a minute, prescribing known teratogens, using offensive terms such as pregnant people, and we demand the ACOG recenter women and their unborn babies as their care priority. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists is responsible for setting the practice protocols and guidelines for obstetrics and gynecology in the United States, and as such has the largest influence over maternity and female reproductive standards of care in the US and possibly the world. ACOG is supposed to be science-based, apolitical, and peer-reviewed, placing the sexual reproductive health of women and girls at the pinnacle of its purpose. However, ACOG has turned its back on women and girls with a decision to align itself with the political and quasi-religious ideology of gender and transgenderism, which includes the absurd belief that some people are born in the wrong body and with the wrong sex. We strongly affirm that gender ideology is rooted in profound misogyny, and that to define woman as anything other than an adult human female, or girl as anything other than a human female child, does a grave disservice to the very population the ACOG was erected to serve. We assert in the strongest possible terms that no male can ever become a woman. No female is a man. As such, no man can ever become pregnant or give birth. Therefore, obstetrics and gynecology is a field that is exclusively to the care of women and girls, and that the only possibility in which a male could legitimately be included in OBGYN care is if it is the fetus growing inside of a pregnant mother.
Yeah.
I need a sip of water. I'm screaming. ACOG supports and encourages. We assert that ACOG has destroyed their credibility with the American people with the following actions, statements, and stated guidelines, protocols, and philosophies, and demand immediate retraction of the following. Number one, ACOG supports and encourages the practice of biological males, aka adult men, who self-identify as trans women, again, that doesn't exist, to breastfeed infants using the Goldfarb-Newman protocol, which includes ingesting a powerful cocktail of drugs to induce lactation. Fetishes. No, they're abusing babies. And that's what you co-sign. The sexual abuse of infants. How fucking dare you?
Here.
An increasing number of men have taken to following ACOG's recommendation of using Goldfarb-Newman protocol to induce lactation in men so that they can sexually abuse infants by forcing the baby to suck on their nipples, thereby facilitating men to indulge in a lactation fetish and or experience, quote, gender euphoria. Yes, guess what? The study that ACOG references in support of this talks about gender euphoria as being one of the primary goals and targets.
Yeah, enough of them, kid.
One of these men who has gone public with forcing his infant to suckle at his nipples is a trans-identifying male TikToker who goes by the moniker Nominal Naomi. Nominal creates lactation porn for OnlyFans, where he boasts his ability to lactate as a sexual offering for his consumers. Clearly, his motivation for wanting to induce lactation and so-called feed his child this drug lactation is concerning at best. Excerpt from ACOG Bulletin. Quote, this is from ACOG. This is you. Now, these are your words. Trans feminine individuals who wish to breastfeed may have success with induction, and again, trans feminine individuals is men, may have success with induction of lactation using modifications to the Newman-Goldfarb method. A 2018 case report describes a man, a transgender woman, a man, successfully inducing lactation and continuing to breastfeed at 6 months follow-up. Again, this man quoted gender euphoria as being one of the number one benefits of doing this. is a fetish. The mother is female position on male breastfeeding by, quote, trans women. We assert one of the primary drugs used to induce lactation in men, domperidone, has been discontinued for use in women as a lactation aid for its known side effect of causing heart irregularities in adults. Domperidone is excreted in breast milk and therefore ingested by any infant consuming this so-called milk. This lacturia is what it is. If domperidone is dangerous to the coronary heart health of adults, then surely it cannot be deemed as safe for the consumption by infants and newborn babies. The source material cited by ACOG in support of induction of lactation in males and feeding babies with the resultant nipple excretion are of extra low quality, where only one participant was observed. The studies noted by ACOG are nowhere near satisfactory enough for them to confidently take the position that, quote, male breastfeeding is either safe, healthy, nor should ever be encouraged. Additionally, a psychological researcher named Ray Blanchard has produced several research studies wherein he describes a class of men afflicted with a sexual paraphilia known as autogynephilia. Autogynephilia is a sexual preoccupation in which a man, known as an autogynephile, or shortened down to an AGP, is aroused at the idea of himself in the body of a woman. These are the trans women that you fight for. Blanchard and other contemporary researchers describe a subcategory of AGPs who specifically eroticize the idea of experiencing female biological functions for themselves, i.e. menstruating, lactating, breastfeeding, etc. Therefore, it is legitimate concern that any child who's being put to the nipple of a man is done so for the sexual gratification of that man.
Oh, I don't know what's happened there. We got a bit of a freeze, guys. Hopefully he'll come back up online.
We demand that you stop now.
Here we go.
That promoting such activity puts the infant in direct danger of abuse as well as physiological harm from the drugs they ingest. Number 2, ACOG officially adopts a, quote, informed consent model and officially rejects the need for psychiatric evaluation as a necessary prerequisite for clinicians to provide self-identifying transgender patients with access to cosmetic drugs and surgery. Therefore, according to ACOG, it is appropriate for patients to self-appoint their own extreme treatment plan with virtually no expert oversight, nor risk-benefit analysis performed by any clinician. Excerpt from ACOG Bulletin, again, this is your words if you're listening. Quote, historically, a referral letter from a mental health professional was required before initiating a patient's gender-affirming hormone therapy. However, current consensus is that an informed consent process without a separate letter from a mental health care professional is more than adequate for initiating therapy from those patients who wish to medically transition. Mothers, females position on, quote, informed consent model of care for trans-identifying patients. We oppose strongly the idea that mentally ill patients can give informed consent for transgender medicalization, which can have profound and often irreversible lifelong impacts on the health and well-being of the patient. Gender dysphoria is listed in the DSM as a mental illness. Therefore, patients with gender dysphoria are by definition incapacitated to give consent. Number 3, ACOG asserts that OBGYNs have a responsibility to assist patients with accessing gender-affirming medical care, which transgender medicalization, which includes but is not limited to cosmetic double mastectomy for women, known as top surgery, cosmetic use of opposite-sex hormones, androgen testosterone for females, estrogens for males, cosmetic hormone blockers, quote, puberty blockers for prepubescent children, including the off-label use of a prostate cancer drug called Lupron, for which use has been outlawed in many countries, excluding the US. Cosmetic vaginectomy, which is the surgical removal and closure of the vagina, irreversible, of course. Cosmetic bilateral sapingo-oophorectomy, which is the surgical removal of the healthy ovaries, thereby throwing the patient into immediate iatrogenic menopause. We're putting 17-year-olds in menopause. I'm in menopause because of cancer treatment that I underwent in 2021. I was 33 years old at the time. My risk of dementia is now tenfold increased. The chances of me getting it early are extremely high. How dare you? How dare you do this to little girls, young women, mentally ill women? Shame on you. Excerpt from ACOG Bulletin. Again, these are your words. Hysterectomy with or without bilateral saphenectomy is medically necessary for patients with gender dysphoria who desire this procedure. And again, you already told us that we don't need psychiatric oversight. So anybody who just walks in, is maybe manic or psychotic, and says, hey, I want to get my hysterectomy taken out, you know, maybe because I don't know, I was raped from the time that I was 5 to 11. And I want to escape the body that the abuse occurred in. And your doctors are like, sure, let's go. Sick. Number 5, ACOG states that OBGYNs can and should prescribe wrong sex hormones to patients. Excerpt from ACOG Bulletin, again, your words. The majority of medications used for gender transition are common and can be safely prescribed by a wide variety of healthcare professionals, with including but not limited.
Oh no, we've lost their feed altogether. I hope they'll come back. Yeah, I hope they come back. They are absolutely fantastic speakers. Brittany is always absolutely incredible. If they don't come back in a second, I might see if we can jump over to Brittany's stream and have a look there. So just give me a second. VF may not know that that's gone down at her end there. So let's have a look. Let's go in and have a look. So hopefully hopefully. Okay, so we can. Okay.
Any psychiatric oversight nor certification. ACOG acknowledges that safe pregnancy is possible only while not taking testosterone. ACOG excerpt, again, your words. Transmasculine individuals taking testosterone who desire biologically related children may safely achieve pregnancy only after the cessation of testosterone. Another ACOG excerpt.
Okay, so I don't know what the black screen there, but at least you can hear them.
Masculinizing
Morning, Rex.
are current
Morning, Miss Rex Landy.
unstable coronary artery disease and polycythemia. Again, you acknowledge that this is teratogenic to pregnancy. Can you prescribe it anyway?
Okay, so we lost VF's feed, but I've gone on and copied
of women has a high incidence of unintended
slightly
pregnancy.
twisted
Why?
female.
Because
So we're back. We're
about
back.
the nature of sex, biology, and human reproduction. Boy, what a fucking surprise. In summary, ACOG advocates for an informed consent model of care, which means anyone who asks for a prescription for testosterone can get one, with virtually zero gatekeeping from medical doctors, with no necessary training or certifications relating to prescribing androgens to women. ACOG advocates for this laissez-faire model of care while simultaneously acknowledging both the inherent risks of exogenous testosterone to a pregnancy, as well as the high incidence of accidental pregnancy amongst this population of trans-identifying females, for whom they advocate the total access of exogenous testosterone drugs. Excerpt from ACOG Bulletin, again, your words, quote, a 2013 study of 41 transgender men, aka women, who experienced pregnancy after transitioning found that 2/3 had used testosterone before the pregnancy. Many of the respondents became pregnant within 4 months after stopping testosterone, and 32% of these pregnancies were unintended. Excerpt from ACOG, again, your words. Given that contraception can be underutilized in this population because of concerns about adverse effects or access to care, not adverse effects, it's because it's estrogens. That's why they don't want to use birth control. Hello, it would fuck up their, cool testosterone boys. Of course, they're not using birth control. but you're going to prescribe them a poison anyway that causes miscarriage. Abortion access is a critical component to comprehensive reproductive health care for transgender individuals. 2013 study also demonstrated that patients experience low levels of healthcare professional awareness and low levels of knowledge of the needs of transgender individuals. Again, another excerpt from you. Quote, the majority of medications used for transgender transition are common and can be safely prescribed by a wide variety of medical care professionals, including obstetricians and gynecologists. Again. Already read that part. 8. ACOG contends that biological males, aka men, who have undergone a cosmetic penile inversion surgery to loosely approximate the appearance of female genitalia, should be regarded as literal biological females, and that the ongoing care for these males and their pseudovagina should fall under the scope of practice for OBGYN. Mother's female positions, our position is that extreme body modification of male genitalia does not turn any man into a biological female, no matter how he wishes to identify. The definition of a woman is an adult human female. There is no pathway for any biological man to transition into being a female, and thus no man can ever be a woman. To assert that modifying male genitals to create an internal pocket through which men can have sex with other men somehow makes those men women is deeply offensive and trivializing to women and girls. Additionally, female-specific sexual and reproductive care is already in critically short supply in the United States. Therefore, assigning men who have undergone elective cosmetic genital surgeries to the care of OBGYNs, who should be an exclusive service to women and girls, robs women and girls of critical healthcare resources that will further jeopardize their well-being. Clearly, you're not fit to serve. You don't understand biology. You're not telling the truth. You have some weird conflict of interest with big pharma, transmedicalism, and it is going, we will pay the price. My highest identity is that I am a mother of 4 children. I had my kids, my last 3 kids at home after I went to one of your hospitals, and I realized what a fucking horror show it was and how much stress you put me through. And I had 3 gorgeous home births. Women shouldn't have to hide from you. We shouldn't have to hide from you to do what our bodies are designed to do. We should be able to trust you and feel confident in your care, but we're not. So
Absolutely
our demand is this. ACOG, either divest yourself immediately, today, right now, yesterday, of your allegiance to gender ideology, or else the U.S. must divest themselves of ACOG. And that's all we have. Yeah. All right. Mother is female. Also, real quick before you turn off the stream, everyone can plug themselves. Yeah, my name is Brittany Rue. You can find me on YouTube at A Slightly Twisted Female. Email me at aslightlytwistedfemale@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at ASTFXX. Again, my acronym is Slightly Twisted Female, ASTFXX. And yeah, I am. Reach out if you want to get in touch with us. We are going to be planning a protest against Planned Parenthood in April. In April of 2024, we will be planning a protest of Planned Parenthood at their headquarters in New York City. They are one of the #1 peddlers of exogenous hormones, drugs to children. Okay? We're tired of it. We're done. And we're coming for you next. Stay tuned.
I just want to say one thing about ACOG and their position that, castrating a man, that man would need a gynecologist. He needs a wound specialist, a wound that doesn't really heal, gets ingrown hairs and pus and severe infections, And we have no numbers on the men that do this and then go kill themselves after, because those numbers are high. Right. So the fact that they're calling a wound an inverted penis, a vagina, is so incredibly insulting. To the men and the women. Those men need a wound specialist.
Facts.
That's what they need. I'm Jennifer Thomas. Just ending on that. I'm a woman mother, and I am a woman and a mother. I'm on Twitter, RevFem Street Beat, REV FEMSTBEAT. I hope you enjoyed our press conference.
Woo! I would like to add, Sarah, that lesbians are not going to lick your inverted dick. I'm sorry. Lesbians don't do dick, inverted or not. Lesbians are not interested in any man who calls himself a woman. Thank you very much. My channel is VF555 on YouTube. Please subscribe. Woo!
I was introduced. I'm Joy, but I'm nobody. I don't have any.
You're a woman. You're everything.
But this is America, free speech for women. And whether you come out and speak publicly like myself and these other amazing women are able to, or just speak the truth, I'm tired of hearing about personal truths, because there is personal truth, but there is also objective truth.
Universal truth.
If you can't agree about objective truth, then your personal truth doesn't matter at all.
Universal truth.
So never shut up, never be silenced. Go to sleep at night and respect yourself, your mothers, and your daughters. And thank you for everyone for letting me speak.
Yes. My name is Gabrielle Clark.
And,
you can find me at affirmingreality.com. I help people parent their children into desistance from social transition. My daughter was socially transitioned into believing she was a boy. And that, of course, is completely and totally ludicrous. And I loved her through it. I created a program with phases and steps to help her to realize, to help her become embodied in her own femininity. There is no child born in the wrong body. And all of these organizations, like Planned Parenthood, a lot of my clients, their children got testosterone from you. And I sent them to lawyers. These people tried to get my daughter, my only daughter. I have 5 children. She's my only one. You messed with the wrong mama, baby.
Hell yeah.
You tried to come and get my daughter. So now, every person that has been harmed by this, find me on Twitter at GabsClark5. I'll find you a lawyer.
Woo!
I'll find you a lawyer. Because I'm going to ruin the gender industry in America. Believe it. You
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. Every fucking word.
All right. Thank you. Woman, mother, no other.
That's right. We'll see you at the next one. Take care. Your mother's a turf. Mother Nature's a turf too. Sweet. All right, let's get a group picture.
Guys, definitely a turf. Well, thank you for joining this little turf along with myself. Big thank you for VF for letting me jump in and do a bit of commentary and a watch along. I really do love these. I appreciate it. So if anyone's having one and wants to get some Aussie eyes and that on it, hit me up. I'm more than happy to do little stream alongs like this. We did one for the Landies with Rex with turfs across the water and Manawahini only the other day. So jump over to Rex's YouTube and check that out. Oh, that's sweet. Of your Barrows. I'm a fangirl to the wonderful Band United who is in the chat. Always an absolute privilege to have you here, love. and also my sister from over the water, Rex Landy, and also my sister VF, who I just absolutely adore. I adore you guys. Anyway, yeah, it is absolutely a global thing. What is going on in America is absolutely going on here. Never forget, one of the first people who stuck their booby on a galactorrhea infected pus moob was a Brisbane man from here, a paramedic. And you can't even say his name. If I say his name, my channel will be shut down because he's even gone after Karen in New York. Mr. Mr. Starts with B but rhymes with Luckley. You know, that bastard. You know, so never forget that. That was years ago. That was years ago. That the mood feeding should have woken us all up. Absolute fact. Anyway, I'm gonna love yous for now. I'll talk to yous later. I've got a little thing coming up that my daughter showed me and my son showed me. So we're gonna do a little turfy fucking event in the next day or two. So I love you for now. Talk to you later. Remember, stay loud, my friend. Project your voice any way you can. Like Gabby, like Brittany, like VF. Scream it, yell it, and Jen. So don't forget, that was pretty a bloody cool cast of women there today. Powerful women. Anyway, yeah, that's the one. Big head dad. We know who he is. We know who he is. Yes, my town of Brisbane. If I get ill and have to call a paramedic, I've got to literally gonna have to say, do not send that guy who does not know what biological reality is, because I don't want no tranny moob feeding bro turning up and doing my care. Anyway, stone out. Oh, I don't know if I can go out. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have to leave. Stone out.